Hello YouTube and fellow Star Wars collectors! On this episode of Toys Are the Way, we will be taking a look at the latest wave of vintage collection figures. We have some excellent characters from the Clone Wars, Mandalorian, and original trilogy, and I've got to say that this is a really impressive wave of nice army builders. And first up we have Figrin D'an on a lovely Star Wars card. A nice image of the band member in Mos Eisley's cantina with his instrument jamming out. Really like this card back. Love the green name pill color. I think that's a color we don't see enough in the vintage collection. Been getting a lot of oranges and yellows lately, so getting green out there is always nice. We have the Kenner logo down below, popping really nice on his black attire, and just all in all, a lovely image of the character. Additionally, we have a fantastic figure here on the bubble, with lots of accessories, all the things that we love seeing in the vintage collection lately. On the back, he is VC 249 in the line, and we have some images of all the amazing figures we've been getting recently in the vintage collection. Really excited to get this one in the collection and just build out the rest of the band, the modal nodes. I definitely pre-ordered a case of these. I know Hasbro said, they plan to give us the full band in some type of manner in the future. Not sure what that means and if it will happen. But regardless, even if I have extras of these, I plan to make some customs out of them because who doesn't love some interesting aliens? And yeah, this is definitely a great one to get into the collection. And here we have Figrin D'an out of the package, and I gotta say that I'm so happy we were able to get this Cantina alien into the vintage collection. He looks fantastic. I also love that Hasbro was able to give us not just one, but 3 instruments in the pack. That is just fantastic stuff. This has got some really nice detailing on it, and just that silver wash, it really brings it to life. Dan himself looks fantastic. I think the paint applications were done really well. It's not too harsh of a color. Yeah, he looks good. His hands are sculpted really nice with some detail and just paint applications on them. The articulation on the figure is fantastic, and as you can see, he is able to play all of the instruments with ease due to the hinges on the wrist, so that is great stuff to see. I love that, Hasbro was able to use the Death Star gunner legs as well to give this partial retool and get a new character into the vintage collection. So all in all, really good stuff. I definitely can't wait to have the full band and all of the instruments in my collection. I also plan on ordering a few of these for customs because this is an alien species that's just so iconic to Star Wars, and I wanted to make, some mercenaries and smugglers out of these really cool aliens. So really good stuff, and I'm happy to have this one in the vintage collection. While this character may not have displayed themselves in an action pose during the original Cantina scene, it's nice to have the ability to do so. Here you can see the figure jamming out with their instrument, and doing so even without the addition of rocker ankles. Figrin D'an is able to securely hold each of the 3 included instruments, and also have them displayed in a variety of musical poses. Whether the character opts for a smaller flute or larger bassoon-like instrument during their performance, the patrons of the Mos Eisley Cantina will surely be dazzled. And next up we have the Mandalorian Super Commando Captain on a lovely Clone Wars card. We have a nice image of the character here with his armor and helmet modified to pay respect to his new rightful leader, Lord Maul. Absolutely a fantastic one to add to the card collection and displays. I just love everything about the way the Mandalorians modified everything to look more Mandalorian, if you will, and there's lots of great reds going on here, and this is a really good looking one. On the back, he is VC 246 in the line. This is going to look great next to my other Clone Wars cards, and I'm happy that we continue to see more Mandalorian characters from the Clone Wars. Hopefully we can see Gar Saxon, who has similar horns on their helmet, and add that one to the vintage collection one day as well. And here we have the Mandalorian Super Commando Captain out of the package, looking really fantastic with some nice weathering and detail on his chest armor. Not quite as much as the other Super Commandos that we got, but nonetheless it looks really nice. He also has a different flight suit color, which I think is pretty cool. It helps him stand apart from the others. He also has red shin guards rather than just like pure Beskar with weathering. I do think that these could have looked a little better with some weathering on them. I might do that myself, add a little bit of detail. I did order several of these because I wanted multiple captains to lead my Mandalorian army, and they're pretty cool looking. I just love the horns on the helmet. That's a big plus for me. It looks really, really tough. And just like the other troopers, the pistols fit very nice and snug into the holster, so you'll have no problems losing those or keeping them safe. So really cool. I did notice that the rifle is a bit of a lighter shade of gray than the other troops. I'm not sure if that's just the sample that I got or what, but just a very minor difference when taking a look at these figures. But yeah, very happy to have this one, and he's going to look really awesome with my Mandalorian army. The Mandalorian Super Commando Captain is an absolutely stunning figure when displayed in a fighting stance. The figure is fully capable of achieving a wide variety of action poses, and due to the flawless hip articulation and rocker ankles, it requires little to no effort. The figure is able to easily engage with all of the weapons, creating realistic blaster motions as seen in battle. This combined with impeccable paint applications and detail throughout make for a fearsome addition to any collection. An absolute must-have for a Clone Wars display. And here we have the Mandalorian Death Watch Airborne Trooper on a Clone Wars card. A nice image of the character here in a dynamic pose with his gauntlet out, ready to fire off at his opponents. Really like this card back. The tangerine orange color is really nice and helps all these like blue tones kind of like interact with it. And it also really helps his character pop off the bubble. Not to mention, it kind of matches, some of his markings on his armor, so everything just ties together very nicely. Once again, we have a fantastic articulated figure on a bubble, looking really good, lots of blasters, all the things that I like to see on my figures. On the back, he is VC 247 in the line. It's really nice that we're getting all these Mandalorian figures from the Clone Wars to add to our carded collections, but it's also nice that we're getting them at the same time and that we're able to set them up in battles against one another. So really happy to see this, and yeah, another great one to add to the collection. And here we have the Mandalorian Death Watch Airborne Trooper, a really good looking Mandalorian. I am so happy to add this one to the collection. The silver detailing on his chest armor and knee pads just look fantastic. I love the way it shines and interacts with light. Not to mention, he's got some of that great coloring on his helmet as well. Just, yeah, everything about this troop is really nice. I'm also a big fan that, his whole flight suit is this very dark navy type of gray color. And then he's got this nice royal blue all over his armor to just really pop everything. So, looks fantastic. You can see some of his shoulder emblems look really nice. The paint application's done well. He's got some more detailing down here on this gauntlet. So, yeah, he looks really, really nice. The main thing that sets us apart from the Mandalorians is he's got a helmet with the articulated rangefinder, which is really nice. He's got a similar gauntlet here on this arm, but instead, on this arm, he has the gauntlet with the flame tubes on it for his flamethrower, as well as some other projectiles. So, pretty cool stuff. Love that, it's just not a exact repaint of the other trooper. So, that looks really cool, and it'll help, them stand apart even more. His jetpack also has some of that blue detailing on it, which just looks really nice. So, yeah, very happy to add this one to the collection. They're going to look great when I have a bunch of these all together in battle. This Death Watch Mandalorian figure is fully loaded with all the modern articulation that one will need during the siege of Mandalore. The figure is able to hold the rifle in a sniper position, and when combined with an articulated rangefinder, this is a must-have for any collection display. Similar to its Mandalorian counterpart, it too is stunning when displayed in a fighting stance. Additionally, the figure is able to securely grip the smaller blasters, and when paired with rocker ankles, running and shooting is no problem for this figure as it battles for Mandalore. Moving on, we have ARC Trooper Jesse, also on a Clone Wars card. We have a nice image here of Jesse with his rifle drawn, ready to take down his opponents. Really like this card back. There's a lot of depth to it with the computer screens and the door in the background, and it's just all in all a very nice action shot. I really like the yellow name pill color. It looks fantastic and really helps the figure pop on the bubble. On the back, he is VC 250 in the line. Really happy to finally have Jesse into the collection. I wasn't able to pick up that ARC Trooper 3-pack, so very grateful that Hasbro brought these out single carded for everyone to get. And moving on, we have ARC Trooper Jesse, looking really fantastic out of the package. Very happy to have this one in the collection. As I said before, I did not have the 3-pack with all the ARC Troopers in it, so I've definitely wanted to add this one to my collection for some time. The paint applications are done really well, and yeah, there's just nothing better than a clone trooper with that nice 501st blue markings on them. So very, very cool stuff. He has a removable helmet, as you can see, with a nice portrait of Jesse and his face tattoo. Everything is done really nice and clean, so that's good stuff. The helmet goes on very nicely. It's also got this articulated rangefinder as well, so everything you're going to want for interacting with this figure. He's got a slot back here that you can put his rifle into, which is always great. And yeah, very happy to have this one. The only thing that is a bit of a bummer when it comes to these ARC Troopers is that the comma is a very soft plastic, but the straps do prohibit you from like really doing a wide stance. You can definitely achieve that, and it's not impossible, but it is a bit of a hindrance. So unfortunate. Nowadays we're getting these ARC Troopers with soft commas, soft goods commas. So that is really nice to see. This was definitely before Hasbro started doing that more often. I've considered, cutting this up a little bit and then replacing it with a soft goods comma, but that's a project that I might want to tackle in the future. Regardless, he can do some really good posing and still has great range of motion. If one is going to be an ARC Trooper within the 501st Legion, then you're going to need to be able to handle your share of clankers in the battlefield. ARC Trooper Jesse is fully capable of utilizing his Clone Trooper rifle for some precision shots against any and all Separatist forces. While some limitations do exist as a result of the plastic comma, the figure is still able to achieve a wide variety of shooting stances. The attention to detail and combination of multiple accessories and battle gear make this a must-have for any fan of the 501st. And finishing off our Clone Wars offerings from this wave, we have Ahsoka's Clone Trooper, the 332nd. A fantastic image of the trooper here, hunting down Ahsoka. And man, yeah, I'm a big fan of Season 7, and I absolutely love that Ahsoka figure that we got in the Vintage Collection. So getting this troop out there was a must for me. It looks really good on the card back, the figure looks fantastic on this bubble, and this is just a great one that we're going to get to Army build. On the back, he's VC 248 in the line. And once again, I'm very happy that we're getting so many figures from the Clone Wars, and that Hasbro's doing a remarkable job of just world building this part of the Star Wars galaxy. And here we have another member of the 501st, and it is one of Ahsoka's clone troopers from the 332nd. Very happy to have this one into the collection. I absolutely love that these clone troopers went out of their way to paint their helmets with a homage to Ahsoka Tano when she returns in Clone Wars Season 7 for the Siege of Mandalore. The paint applications are done really well, nice clean lines there, and look absolutely fantastic. This trooper is simply the 501st that we've been getting recently in the Vintage Collection, just with that helmet repaint, which, I'm very happy to get it. We need these guys for our Siege of Mandalore displays. The helmet comes off very nice and easy, and beneath you can see the clone portrait that we've been getting recently. So good stuff there. It would have been cool to get, a slightly different portrait, but these guys are pretty basic infantrymen, so they're all going to basically just look the same. The helmet goes on very nice and easy and stays on snug. So definitely one you're going to want to pick up a few of if you're a big fan of the Siege of Mandalore. If you're going to commit treason against the Republic or just happen to be an exiled Jedi trapped aboard a Republic cruiser once Order 66 has been issued, then you're going to have some problems. Ahsoka's clone trooper of the 332nd may be an older figure with some outdated articulation, but can still achieve numerous action poses. The figure has ball-jointed knees and hip articulation, allowing it to be displayed in a dynamic shooting stance as it battles during the Siege of Mandalore or hunts down Ahsoka and Maul aboard the cruiser. A must-have for any fan who wishes to recreate these Clone Wars scenes. And finishing off the wave, we have an offering from the Mandalorian, and it's Djarin in his Morak disguise. I'm really happy to be seeing these tank drivers in the Vintage Collection. This is a good one to Army build, and it's a fantastic way to get us another head sculpt of Din Djarin from Season 2 this time. So we have a nice image of him on the card once he took his helmet off. I think this is when he's sitting at the table with the Imperial officer Valen Hess and Migs just undercover and trying to keep their cool. Really nice image. Got the Kenner down below. Another orange name pill color for the Mandalorian, which we seem to see a lot of orange but it just goes well with the card. Really helps the figure pop off the bubble as well. On the back, he is VC 251 in the line. And yeah, I'm just really happy to continue to build out our Mandalorian displays. I really hope that one day we can see the Juggernaut tank in the vintage collection. I feel like it's a bit of a long shot, but other than that, I'm not sure what else these figures can interact with. Unless, hopefully, we're getting a Valen Hess Imperial officer for them to sit down at the table with. I think that would be a really cool one. Maybe a small type of playset with tables and some type of Imperial walls. That could be a great release in the vintage collection. But regardless, I would also love to see that Juggernaut tank. That thing was really cool, and it would be awesome to be able to have this figure pilot the tank. And lastly, we have the Mandalorian Din Djarin in his Imperial Tank Trooper disguise from Morak. A fantastic episode from Season 2 of The Mandalorian, and I've got to say that I am so happy that we're getting another character in Stormtrooper disguise. It is just something that is very historic in Star Wars collecting and for this scale, so adding another one to the collection is just awesome. As you can see, he's got some great detailing and weathering on his armor. His face sculpt is done very nicely. It's a good portrait of Din Djarin, and I'm happy to have that because, you know, you can put it on your Mandalorian figure as well and have a nice representation of him from Season 2 with no helmet on. The figure itself is pretty much a partial retool of the Scarif Trooper that we've been getting, so really good stuff that Hasbro was able to, you know, use some smart assets and give us another figure that we need for our Mandalorian collection. The helmet is made of a soft plastic and does fit onto the figure very easily and stays on nice and tight. I'm definitely a bigger fan of the swappable head and helmet choice. The plastic helmets usually don't work too well, but I think for this Imperial Trooper, it actually looks pretty dang good. So that is good stuff to get there. It also allows you to army build these and just, you know, have multiples of this trooper in your collection. The pistol is really nice as well because we're getting a holster with it, which is fantastic. So you're able to store the pistol in this holster just like so. Awesome stuff. I'm always a big fan of that. And yeah, this is a really good figure to get into your collection. Sneaking into an Imperial mining hub proved to be quite a challenge for the Mandalorian Din Djarin, who was put into a position that tested not only his beliefs, but his skills as a warrior. This figure is able to recreate a number of poses that were seen during the scuffle on Morak. The figure is a partial tool of an earlier vintage collection trooper, and while it can be displayed in a variety of fighting stances, the knees have a limited range of motion. Regardless, you are able to still pose the figure well, and it's a must-have for any Morak display. I hope you've enjoyed this video and taking a look at this new incredible wave of vintage collection figures. Feel free to let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. And don't forget to drop a like on this video and subscribe if you're new to the channel. It really helps and is always greatly appreciated. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you on the next video.